Why do soldiers, standing perfectly still at attention, sometimes just pass out? Or, why do your feet swell up like giant balloons on a really long flight? The answer actually isn't just physical exhaustion. It's physics. Specifically, it's gravity, acting on the literal physical weight of the blood sitting right inside your veins. Your body is basically just a highly complex biomechanical machine. By the end of this explainer, you'll understand the physics of body pressure. We're going to break down the exact formulas behind internal forces, and you'll learn how to calculate the literal weight resting inside your own body. Let's dive right in. Take a look at these massive differences in gauge pressure across your different biological systems, measured here in millimeters of mercury. Your arteries, they operate at a pretty high 100 to 140 millimeters, but your lungs actually operate in the negative. It's this wild landscape of mechanical variation that keeps everything ticking. Let's start with the one we're all familiar with, blood pressure. Systolic pressure is the maximum pressure when blood is actively rushing out from your heart. If this stays chronically high, your vessels are essentially ballooning out, which is super dangerous. Diastolic, on the other hand, is the minimum pressure, indicating your body's baseline fluid balance. If that drops too low, say from internal bleeding, you risk fainting. It is a very delicate balancing act of fluid dynamics. Now that we've got the basic idea down, let's look at the formula to see exactly how gravity messes with this balance. Imagine your body is just a vertical column of fluid. If we take the distance from your heart down to your feet, which is, let's say, about 1.4 meters, multiply that by the density of blood, and then multiply that by the constant force of gravity, we get our formula. Delta P equals delta H times rho times G. And when you actually run those numbers, you get a massive 108 millimeters of mercury. This perfectly answers our first question. Literally, just by standing up, the pressure in your feet spikes by over 100 points compared to your heart. If you just stand there perfectly still for a long time without your calf muscles pumping to push that pooled blood back up, well, the blood pressure to your brain drops and boom, you pass out. Now wait, this is important. Think about your eye for a second. If your eye is basically just a fragile little liquid balloon, what keeps it from collapsing or popping under atmospheric pressure? The secret is intraocular fluid pressure. Normally, that eye pressure sits really comfortably between 12 and 24 millimeters of mercury, but what happens if the fluid circulation gets blocked? Well, you get a condition called glaucoma. The net pressure can skyrocket to an abnormally huge 85 millimeters of mercury, and that buildup literally starts crushing the optic nerve. Let's make this easier to visualize with a real-life analogy, using the formula force equals pressure times area. 85 millimeters of mercury pushing on the back of your eye generates about 6.8 newtons of force. To put that into perspective, that is exactly like taking a 680-gram mass, so like a 1.5 pound weight, and resting it directly onto your bare eyeball. Yikes, right? All right, let's move down from the head into the chest. Here's a really common student question. If my lungs are just empty, passive sacs, how do they actually pull air in? I mean, they don't have muscles of their own, right? The answer is actually a brilliant use of a physical vacuum. During inhalation, your diaphragm and rib muscles physically expand your chest cavity. This increases the volume and drops the internal pressure below the atmospheric level outside. That negative gauge pressure literally sucks the air in. Then, when you exhale, those muscles relax and the natural rubber band-like surface tension of your lung tissue creates a positive pressure that squeezes the air right back out. But here's a crucial point. What stops that balloon-like surface tension from just shrinking and collapsing your lungs completely? The answer is liquid adhesion. There's this tiny, thin layer of fluid between your lungs and your chest wall, acting exactly like a suction cup. It maintains a constant negative pressure seal of -4 to -8 millimeters of mercury. If air ever breaks that specific seal, the lung simply collapses. Okay, quick retention check. We just talked about negative pressure in the chest cavity, but what about up in the skull? What keeps your heavy 1.3 kilogram brain from just sinking to the bottom of your skull and crushing its own blood vessels under its own weight? Well, it's physics to the rescue again. The cerebral spinal fluid inside your skull and spinal column exerts a steady pressure of 5 to 12 millimeters of mercury. And because the fluid's density is almost exactly the same as the brain's density, it creates a buoyant force that perfectly floats the brain inside your head. Without this specific fluid pressure, your brain would literally rest on the bone, causing severe headaches and massive tissue damage. Now, let's connect all this clinical data to a super common everyday action. As your bladder fills up, internal pressure steadily climbs from 0 to about 25 millimeters of mercury. That physical pressure is actually what triggers the micturition reflex, which is just the fancy medical term for the sensation of needing to pee. When you do, surrounding muscles contract, and that spikes the pressure way past 100. Fun fact here, things like coughing, freezing cold weather, or even a vigorously kicking fetus can dramatically spike this internal bladder pressure too. So, we've covered fluids and air. Now, brace yourself for a truly massive number, 5,000 newtons. This brings us to the most extreme mechanical limits of the human body, specifically in your skeletal system. See, if you lift a heavy object improperly, you can easily generate 5,000 newtons of force right along your lower spine. Now, remember, pressure equals force divided by area. So applying that massive force to the tiny, say, 10 square centimeter area of a spinal disc creates an unbelievable 5 million pascals. That is about 50 atmospheres of pressure crushing down on a single joint. And that right there is exactly why improper lifting literally bursts cartilage. We've spent all this time looking at the pressure inside, but what happens when our internal body mechanics meet extreme external environments? Think about scuba diving deep underwater, or going back to our earlier example, flying in a commercial airplane. Your internal middle ear pressure has to suddenly adapt to radical external changes. That is exactly why your eustachian tubes exist. They pop open to equalize the pressure so your eardrums don't just burst under the immense strain. Okay, before we finish up, let's quickly hit our key takeaways. The physics of body pressure, the exact formulas, and calculating literal weight, it all boils down to fluid statics. Gravity dictates blood pooling, precise fluid pressure floats your brain and shapes your eyes, your lungs operate on negative gauge pressure vacuums, and extreme forces act on tiny skeletal joints. So, you now completely understand how static fluids behave perfectly still inside us. But I want to leave you with one final provocative thought. What happens when those fluids stop sitting still and start violently rushing through your biological pipes? If you want to know how turbulent flow and Bernoulli's equation literally keep your heart beating, you'll need to join me for our next explainer on the totally chaotic world of fluid